Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to today's IMC session on the art of mentoring. I'm Sabah, and I shall be your host this evening. I'm delighted to welcome all the participants joining us from different backgrounds, professions, and geographies. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us today. At IMC, we strongly believe that mentoring has the power to shape lives, strengthen leadership, and create meaningful human impact. And today's session beautifully reflects that vision. Our topic is centered around the true essence of mentoring, not merely as guidance, but as a transformational relationship that builds confidence, inspires growth, and helps individuals move forward with greater clarity and purpose. We are privileged to have with us someone who has dedicated years to empowering individuals through mentoring, training, and human development. Before we begin, just a few quick housekeeping points. Please note that the session is being recorded. Participants are requested to keep themselves muted during the speaker's address. You may share your questions in the chat box throughout the session. We will have a dedicated Q&A segment towards the end where we will take the questions from the audience. Now I'd like to introduce our speaker for the evening, Dr. Meenu Goyal. Dr. Meenu is a corporate soft skills trainer, posh consultant, counselor, and founder of Embrace Life. With over 2 decades of rich professional experience spanning the corporate, academic, and social sectors. Her work has consistently focused on empowering individuals through mentoring, workplace readiness, leadership development, communication skills, employee engagement, and gender sensitization. What truly distinguishes Dr. Meenu is her empathetic, practical, and deeply engaging approach. Over the years, she has mentored students, professionals, and emerging leaders, helping them build confidence, strengthen communication, navigate both personal and professional journeys with greater clarity. Through her initiatives and training interventions, she continues to create meaningful impact by fostering stronger workplace cultures, personal growth, and lasting transformation. Today, she will be speaking with us on the topic that resonates deeply with the spirit of IMC, the transformative power of mentoring and the qualities that make mentoring truly meaningful and influential. We are truly honored to have you with us today, Dr. Meenu. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Sabha, for the nice words. Your words make us more powerful and more empathetic. And yes, as an individual, it makes us more bright every day. So thank you so much. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here in this session. So this session is not about learning mentoring as a concept. It is about examining how are you mentoring and whether it is truly creating an impact. Because at this level and with your experience, mentoring is not about what we know, it is always about how we show up in the conversations, and that shapes someone else's thinking. Right, you will see on the slide that most mentoring doesn't work. Right, so I also want to begin with something very uncomfortable, because most mentoring does not work. And the question is why? Not because mentors lack experience, not because mentees lack capabilities, but because of one of the common pattern. We all definitely rely on it. We rely heavily on advice. It feels helpful. When we advise someone, it really feels helpful. It feels like we are adding value to it. But over a period of time, it creates dependence instead of clarity. The mentees start looking outward for answers. Instead of building the ability to think independently, don't you think we make them dependent on us? Think about it, and if you agree to it, please write yes in the chat box. If we look honestly at most mentoring conversations, right, think about it. A few pattern emerges. We tend to talk more than what we listen. We move quickly to solutions. We Instead of even listening, we try to fix the situations. Assume that we have understood everything even before we have listened to it carefully. And in doing so, we unintentionally reduce the mentee's thinking space. Understand, when we give the solution too easily, someone comes to us for a question and we immediately reply back. It means we have not even given the opportunity for them to think. We quickly give them the answer, or we try to fix that situations immediately, considering ourselves that yes, we are the best and people should not think something negative about it. So the result is that the growth remains at the surface level. There is a moment, but not a transformation. So we need to shift, because mentoring is not about giving answers. Mentoring is about fixing problems, directing every step. It is about creating awareness. It is about expanding thinking. It is about strengthening confidence. And the real goal is not to make mentees dependent. And on whom? On us. But to make them capable without us. So now, this is for you. I want you to reflect on this honestly. Think of your mentor who have grown the most. Right? I don't need the names of your mentors. I just need to think of your mentor who have grown the most. Was that growth because of your advice and instructions? Or because something shifted in how they saw their situations and themselves? Please write it down in the chat box. Think of your mentor who have grown the most. Was that growth because of the advice and the instructions? Or because something has shifted in them because of the situations and themselves? I'm giving you a minute to think and write it down. What was that? Either the first question because of the advice and the instructions they followed, or because of the advice and instructions, something has shifted in the situations. What would you say? All right. Definitely their own awareness. Very good. Mentees discover their strengths. Absolutely good. Enhance self-awareness and understanding. Great. So, from your answers, we can conclude this, that meaningful mentoring begins when the mentees start discovering their own strength, their own answers, and their own capabilities, right? This is how the real shift begins. Okay, we are focusing on a few critical aspects, not basic mentoring skills that you all are good at, but what actually creates depth. We will explore what makes mentoring meaningful, how to move from advice to awareness, how to strengthen presence to connection, because everything depends upon connection, and how to influence thinking, not just decisions. So, this is about refining what you already do, not replacing what you do. Right? So, today will be just understanding more of a connection. So, mentoring is often misunderstood as knowledge sharing, or you can say knowledge transfer. When anyone speaks about this word called mentoring, we say, oh, I know this, I can help you out with this, I can guide you on this. It means the knowledge transfer or knowledge sharing. But the real power lies in transformation. It shapes how people think, how they feel about themselves, and how they approach decisions. In a simple terms, mentoring shapes identity, and identity is what derives long-term behavior and results. If we change the identity, if we shape the identity, then it will benefit in the long term. If you agree to it that the long-term behavior and results would really make a mentor great, then please write yes. So we need to have a shift. We need to strengthen their identity. We have to shape their identity to have the long-term behavior. So take a moment to think of one of the mentor who had a real impact on you. Ask yourself, what exactly did they do? Think of your mentor and think about you. What exactly did they do? How did they make you feel? What changed within you? So think about it. Did something change within you when you interact with your mentor? How did they make you feel? And what exactly did they did? You will notice something very important. And please, what you notice, please write it down in the chat box. If you really notice something, some change that happened in you, and how did they make you feel? Everyone, come on, please. Take a moment, think about your mentor, and then write it down. Thank you, Renu. Improved self-belief. Very nice. Initially sad, but then it changed into awareness that become empowerment. Very good. Small shift that change ourselves. How did they make you feel? Help me connect the dots. Absolutely. The role of a great mentor. Improved self-reliance. How did you feel when you talk to them, when you discuss your problems, appreciated and valued? Wow. You must be feeling much lighter when you talk to them. They advise you, they connect the dots. Their trust and confidence in me have strengthened my confidence in myself. Great. They have my good. So it was not just what they said, it was how they engaged with you. Right? So even till today, they are there at the back of your mind. So if we look at impactful mentoring, common elements appears trust, deep listening, empathy, thoughtful questions, and genuine belief in the individual. What stands out is the impact is created by connection. You will notice always that the impact is made by the connection, not by transformation or not by information. People will grow when they feel understood and when they feel capable. That is what mentoring do, not when they are simply told what to do. To make it more structured and usable, I have put this into a simple framework, the Meenu model. Because meaningful mentoring is not random. There is a pattern to what it works. And simultaneously, you will also remember my name. Right? So this is Meenu model that I'm going to introduce with you. So M stand for first and the foremost is mindful presence. This is the Meenu model of meaningful mentoring. It captures 5 essential elements. that consistently creates impact in the mentoring conversations. We'll go through each one of them, as we know that mindful presence is absolutely important, and it connects you to the real world practice. So how many of you are really present here? Not only by your physical presence, but yes, the mindful presence. How many of you are here? No one. I did not receive any reply in the chat box, so I'll consider that no one is here. I am. Okay. Yes, I can consider them. Yes, that they are there. Because we are going to unlock the mindful presence. So, as the name itself says, mindful presence, this sounds very simple, but it is often missing. You all will keep hand on your heart and tell me, are we always present wherever we are physically present, especially in the online sessions? Not always, right? So mindful presence is very important. Being present means not interrupting, not pre-thinking, even not pre-thinking your responses, not judging, and fully focusing on a person. Because most mentors listen to respond and very few listen to understand. This is a difference. So, and without presence, that too mindful presence, nothing will work. Coming to the second and the most important element, that is, I hope we all have the first word here, empathetic connection. As I've told you in the starting also, connection is the key element. And when we combine this with a word called empathetic, does it make a double meaning, double sense to it, and double connection to it? When we are empathetically connected to the audience, connected to our mentees, and connected to the, even if you talk about your family, your professional life, everywhere, understanding with empathy, dealing with empathy will make it a big difference. Because this is about creating psychological safety. The mentee should feel comfortable sharing problem, not judging them. Right? If that safety is missing, it means something is wrong. They will filter what they say. Right? If we are not having that connection, or if we are not able to confront everything, then we will think before what we speak. And when that filter starts to happen, then it means that we are not working with the real problem. Real conversation will not happen at that particular time. How many of you are with me till now? Tell me before we move on to the third and the important slide, because Meenu model is, yes, very important. First one was mindful presence. Second is empathetic connection. Third, evoking awareness. This is where mentoring fully shifts. Instead of telling, you ask. Instead of directing, we explore. And powerful questions helps the mentees. Right? There are always two types of questions. We will discuss that. Right? So powerful questions helps the mentees. We have to understand the patterns. We have to recognize the assumptions. So challenge their own thinking. That is the toughest part, and generally we do not get ready for challenging our own thinking pattern, challenging our own awareness. And when awareness starts, there is a point, there is a shift of a real change, and awareness leads to transformation. What could be N standing for? Think of what could N stands for. After mindful presence, empathetic connection, evoking awareness, what could be N for? As per you. Penny for your thoughts, for thinking new insights. Great. Quickly, nurturing insight. Great. New narratives, no bias. All right, new direction. Every one of you is correct. So, what is this? Nurturing belief. What we started, awareness leads to transformation. That is a real change that we spoke. And here, even capable individuals go through self doubt. I have gone multiple times during my journey, right? I hope you must have gone through or met a situation like this when you are in self doubt, when you think you're not capable enough, when you think, oh, it's tough to do. Yes, everyone goes through that phase. Everyone goes through self doubt once in a lifetime. And at that point, what matters is reinforcing their strengths, reminding them of their capabilities, encouraging their self belief, holding belief when they cannot. That is the strongest point that the mentor should be there to make them believe, yes, you are capable enough, not for this, but even for much more. Sometimes your belief becomes the bridge between the doubts and the confidence. What we need to understand, making connection, connecting with people with empathy. This would be the step where you could bridge that gap between them. You would be the pillar to unlock the action. This is the turning point where your actions will speak what you have developed over a period of time. Clarity without actions has got no value. We all know this, right? If we are not clear, if we do not have a set goals, we will not lead to anywhere. So clarity without action has no value. So here the role of a mentor is to ensure that the mentee defines next step, not you. You have to guide, you have to nurture, you have to be with them so that they realize they have that thinking pattern. They can recognize that pattern and they can define the next step. They feel confident to act. They take ownership and the action must come from them. That is unlocking action and not from you as an instruction. Now you do this, now you do that, then you have to do this. No. Let them recognize the pattern, let them understand. You are there to bridge that gap, to make them understand and make them realize their thinking pattern. What is the mentoring lab? We all have. In real conversation, this means avoid jumping to advice because we all are very good at advice. I think so everyone is born advisor and that too in free? Definitely yes. So let the mentees complete their thinking. Use questions to deepen understanding. right? Very, very important for them to understand their own thinking style, their own thinking patterns. Resist the urge to fix the situation immediately. It may feel slower, definitely yes, because you are giving time for them to fix their own situations. But it will create a deeper, 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 and the lasting outcomes, right? It would create space for reflection. It would make them feel independent. It, it would make them feel more capable, more competent. It happens with everyone, either the initial years or the later years in their life. Even the experienced mentors do struggle with these sometimes in their life, right? They struggle with few things, either one or two, right? Talking more than required, sometimes interrupting, right? Sometimes we have seen that we do not keep so much of patience. Asking surface level questions. And the first step of awareness, once you notice the patterns, you can consciously fix them. And this is how you would shift the thinking pattern. As I've told you in the midway, that yes, questions are the important source when we talk to mentees or when we are the mentors. There are always two types of questions. And the effectiveness of mentoring depends heavily on questions. Strong questions. What could be these strong questions like? Okay, let me ask you. What could be the strong questions? If we want to ask our mentees, what do you think a strong questions would be? Open-ended, close-ended, a definite way of starting. What do you think a strong question could end up? Waiting for your replies. Think about it. Because mentoring style relies heavily on questions. And there are two types of questions, strong questions and weak questions. What could be the heavy questions or strong questions? Waiting for your replies, guys. Think about it and respond. Open-ended questions really helps. My often do not want more questions. Open-ended, non-leading. Great. Challenge their current belief by asking where it is coming from. Nice. So this is what experience is, right? My experience is that mentees often do not want more questions. They want answers from the mentor and leave disappointed. If they don't get some guidance, answers, because they go to mentor as to get the expert in a given field, how to deal with this. I'll come to this. All right. Great. Thank you so much for the participation. Strong questions, definitely open-handed, which could lead to their open thinking, which could create reflection, which could encourage ownership. Right? These are the types of open or a strong questions. There are a few. What is really holding you back? What are you not saying right now? Means reading between the lines, understanding the body language. What does success look like for you? Whereas on the other hand, weak questions is always the closed thinking. What we know, we'll tell. Lead the answers. You ask me a question, I'll reply you straightforward. Reduce independence. What options do you see? What will you do next? So the quality of questions always determines the quality of mentoring. So the difference is subtle, but the impact is significant. You could understand. When they are using their own thinking style, you have already guided them. It would have their own thinking patterns. It will create reflection. So it means there would be a shift. So, shift in a role from the advisor to enabler. We have got two approaches, old approach versus new approach. In the old approach, we were giving solutions. In the new approach, we are asking questions. We do not lead to decisions, right? So the real shift is from the advisor, problem solvers, decision makers to enablers, facilitators, thinking partners. This is where your role is not to lead the path, but to help them see clearly. Agreed? Because your role is much more than what they're thinking. So, the impact of meaningful mentoring. When mentoring is done meaningfully, right? So, what is meaningful mentoring? It means the outcomes are clear. Obviously, if the outcomes are clear, the confidence would be much higher. Better decision making, clear direction, reduced dependency. For this, sustainable growth. And most importantly, the mentees become self reliant. And when the mentees become self reliant, you would be the first person who would be the most happiest one. So I want you all to reflect on what kind of mentors are you today, and more importantly, what kind of mentor do you want to become? Quickly, what kind of mentor are you today, and what kind of mentor do you want to become? Wise enabler. Great. So this is what you are today and what you want to become. Waiting for your responses, guys. More and empathy. Today I struggle with confidence to ask the right question. In the future, I would like to be more engaged with the questions rather than my own fear. Wow. This is what a true reflection is. I truly appreciate. Because small shift in how you engage creates significant shifts in their own outcomes. Right? So mentoring is not about guiding people step by step. It is about expanding how they think. It is about how they feel in strengthening their own confidence, shaping how they see themselves. So this is where their real impact lies. Mentoring creates identity and not just outcomes. So mentoring is not about guiding people. People may forget what you said, but they will not forget how your conversation changed the way they see themselves. It is the own reflection, self-awareness, right? Shaping how they think, strengthening how they feel, and transforming how they see themselves, right? So thank you so much. Any questions are always welcome. I hope this session helps you to refine not just what you do, but how you show up as a mentor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Meenu, for such an insightful and meaningful session. I think what stood out the most for me was the reminder that mentoring is simply not about giving advice, it's about creating belief. Your thoughts on intentional guidance, confidence building, and human centered mentoring were truly valuable. And I'm certain our audience also is taking back such meaningful reflections from today's conversation. If anyone has any questions, I would want you to drop them in the chat box. Kim has mentioned that when mentee responds is, I don't know, to our question, as a mentor, what should we do?
Right? As I've told you, even in the slides, that yes, when mentee responds, I don't know, to our questions, first, give them the space to think themselves, right? You will never know what they do not know, right? Give them that space. Build that connection with them that they do not filter what they say. They have to be open like we do, right? When we go to the doctor, we share the exact problem. If we hide something, we won't get the real solution to it. Similarly, the role of a mentor is to understand what is going within them, not what is going outside. Right? So understand, build that connection with them, nurture it nicely like we do it for a seed, and then look at the transformation that would help you. So take out that question that is not coming out from them. Build the strong questions.
Yeah. So Kim has also mentioned, so what does that mean? Like at that moment, do does a mentor keep quiet?
We have to open up with the, strong questions. We have to ask the questions which would really make them think and answer.
The next question is by Rabia Khalid. She has asked, how would you differentiate coaching and mentoring?
See, this is again a very big question. We can definitely take it up in the next session. However, to just make it a small, mentoring is not only guiding. Mentoring could be one small essentials of coaching, but mentoring has a wide scope of transformation, right? Mentor has got a different level of understanding and making their mentees more relatable in what you do and how they shift or how they transform. Whereas coaching, you must have started that, we have got lots of coaching that could be 101 or we could have 1 200. It is what we have, we are just distributing it, right?
Mona has asked, is there a formula for open-ended questions?
Open-ended questions always lead you to think formula, but understanding the people and making the questions accordingly. Not even a set rules of questions, only these questions we have to ask.
I think those are the questions that we've received today. So, as we come to the end of today's session, I would once again like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Meenu Goyal for sharing her wisdom, experience, and insightful remarks with all of us. Thank you, ma'am, for such a thoughtful and enriching session. And to all our participants, thank you for your presence, engagement, and wonderful participation. We hope today's discussion inspires all of us to approach mentoring not merely as guidance, but as a meaningful opportunity to create impact in someone's journey. On behalf of IMC, thank you once again, and we look forward to welcoming you to many more insightful sessions ahead. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sabah.